Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, family. Welcome to the Mental House. I am your host, Khadijah. Uh, I wanted to come with a quick video. I don't know how quick it's going to be. Oh, shout out to the 5150 Nation. I wanted to get one of Seville Smith's relatives and hoping that I could have did um, an impromptu conversation, but it is just a little too hectic around there right now, and so that's something I'm not going to be able to do. That's what I was hoping to be able to do, but it didn't come to fruition. I'm glad I'm able to calm down a little bit more from what was happening a little bit earlier, because this is the most important time for all of us, especially here in the city of Milwaukee, to go inside ourselves. And some of this is going to be some real tough talk, and some of y'all ain't gonna like what I gotta say. I understand that, but that goes with the territory. Um, but what has to happen is, when you don't have no love for yourself, and when you've been socially engineered to hate yourself, the result of what you see is what you have. It is a shame that before Seville was killed, 4 people had been killed that night, or earlier in that day. Earlier in the day. In fact, 6 people had been killed altogether within like a 9 or 10 hour period. And it was just black folk shooting black folk, which is, I know, is an entirely separate incident. I don't need nobody to tell me that. But this is the hate that hate produces. We hate ourselves, and when we look in the mirror and we see something that looks like us, it is really easy for us to destroy that. Yeah. Very simple. But then, just like a bad family member, it's okay for you to beat your brother up, but you don't want nobody to beat him up. And that's what happens when the cops do something that they shouldn't be involved in. The biggest difference, in my opinion, is that we pay taxes to them. They are trained professionals. They never get prosecuted. Thus, that right there creates drama. Because if I hate my sister or my brother and I shoot them, I'm going to be prosecuted. Milwaukee has a very long history of corruption. This is nothing new. All of these police departments have a long history of corruption. Policing is going to have to be reconstructed. We can no longer continue to support and have the sheriff clerks. We can no longer continue to have people that don't know that you don't just keep putting violence on top of violence on top of violence on top of more violence and thinking that you are going to solve a problem. You just keep forcing the people to push back, push back, push back. And because you take all of our tax money and spend it in the military, now you're going to doubly insult us by taking the same weapons that we paid for and turn around and use them back on us. This is a problem. What Hillary Clinton said, I thought, even though I'm not a Hillary Clinton fan at all, I thought she gave the most, at least the most open-minded statement about the situation when she said that the people have to listen to law enforcement, and law enforcement has to listen to the people. Yin and yang. You can't get any more honest than that. Whether she meant it or not, at this point doesn't really matter. I'm just saying the statement that she made. Yet and still, we have a Sheriff Clark that wants to come in and talking about how he's going to call in the sheriff and it's the black underclass and the kids, black men without a father, and yada yada yada. Listen. Don't even do it, Sheriff Clark. Don't even do that. Not having fathers in the home is not the linchpin factor in what's going on here, and you know it. We got over 50%, I think it is. I made a mistake earlier. I think we got over a 50% unemployment rate here in the black community. What the hell are you talking about? That has a lot to do with it. Okay? Second of all, the age, the demographics of the age group that is predominant in Milwaukee. Nobody want to mess with them. Okay? This city has been falling apart for a long time, and it's not because Lyndon Johnson signed the poverty bill or whatever Sheriff Clark said. This city started in corruption when our very first mayor used to allow whores to come to the rotunda, and they used to wild out downtown at the city hall. That's where the corruption started. But our sheriff doesn't seem to want to talk about white on white crime. He doesn't even consider that part of the crime. He considers that part of the landscaping. And he considers a retaliation the initiation. See? And that's the difference and the difficulty that I have with Sheriff Clark. Y'all got to remember, I voted for David Clark. I voted for David Clark because David Clark runs as a Democrat. Let me tell you how diabolical and sinister this individual is. He runs as a Democrat. Okay? And so he's had people vote for him, of course. If Wisconsin is a Democratic state. And we have voted for Sheriff Clark and supported him on that ticket. Now he's got in there and totally shape-shifted on us, flipped the script, and it started when the when Governor Doyle left office. Sheriff Clark began to do a bait and switch, and we began to watch him. I know I did, and I didn't vote for him the last election. I didn't vote for him the last election, but I voted him in there before, so I'm responsible. What I saw was something very hypocritical in Sheriff Clark. And that was when Doyle left, and Scott Walker came in. And Scott Walker came in with the hoopla of cutting all the union and from all that money from the Koch brothers and all that whole spiel. You know what happened? Sheriff Clark jumped on the bandwagon. He's a shapeshifter. And then he started talking more and more Republican mantra. Then I was downtown at the lakefront one day, just having my daily walk, and I saw him giving a speech with the Tea Party. And I said, what the hell is going on with David Clark? David Clark used to come on the black talk shows, okay? And he certainly wasn't talking the rhetoric that you hear now, because you think black talk show would have had him on there talking about us like dogs? You think we that stupid? Well, we're not. David Clark is a shapeshifter. Okay, and he's a person that can't be trusted. And I've heard some very, very disparaging things about his personal life that I can't get into. But allegedly, he's got some real serious issues. And you guys don't want to go and do his rap sheet like you do everybody. In fact, I remember when he first got appointed governor. Let me say this. The interim governor was Governor McCallum before Doyle came in. He's the one that appointed Sheriff David Clark. And when Sheriff Clark gave the news conference, he made a point to say, I don't want nobody asking me anything about my personal life and about my wife and about the things that happened to me personally. What type of craziness? They started the press conference out that way. So nobody raised their hand and said, do you beat your wife? We heard that your wife is suffering from abuse and she's been battered. Well, nobody could ask those questions. Okay? So he took it right off the table. Sneaky politics. Let me tell you something, you guys. And I want y'all to hear me good. When I was arrested with the McGee campaign in 2007, I think in 2008, Mike had to do 7 or 8 years. I can't even remember. What I found out at that time was the media and police departments. See, they're all connected. It's all white supremacy, and it's all connected. Okay, so the media is only going to get the story that the police feed them. They plastered my name all across the television. Lost all kinds of clients. Could not perform at a job. In fact, the one I was in the interim of a position that I really, really wanted, and that was the camera position that I really, really wanted to put it like this. Because of all of the scrutiny, and they plastered my face on a television screen over and over and over again, accusing me of stealing votes. Nobody wanted to mess with me anymore. So I had to create everything I created now from scratch, because no my jobs didn't want me. Nobody wanted to hire me. Nobody wanted to mess with me because of this false flag operation that the city of Milwaukee did on their witch hunt for Michael McGee Jr. Okay? They didn't like the company I kept. That's what most of them told me. They didn't like the company that I kept. Interesting. But that challenged me, and it made me stronger, because I realized that perception is really reality. So if you get arrested for rape, and you may not have committed that rape, I want y'all to understand something. For the rest of your life, people are going to be looking at you like you're a rapist. And they went, well, you know he did get caught for rape. Well, you know she did get caught. And I think that's a travesty, because people don't listen. But I digress, because most of the people are sheep. What Seville Smith and Korean Gaines had in common, both have had lawsuits in against the police. What I did find out from his cousin was that he had a lawsuit. He was not a felon. I'm talking about Seville Smith. Contrary to the reports that you hear out there, he was not a felon. He was a single parent of a little boy, and he was an only child. And that's one of the reasons why his mother can't talk right now. She just can't even bear herself to deal with this. She has to bury her only child. Another fallacy that you guys might have not have heard is the fact that when the police said he was pulling a gun out, I don't know if they're going to release the phone, but guess what? The last person that he called while he was running from the police was his mother, to tell her what was happening to him. 3 people ran out. Not just him, 3 people. But why did Seville become the only person that got shot? Do you think it's because he had a lawsuit in against the police department like Korean Gaines? And once you put lawsuit in against these police, I'm going to tell you, they're going to harass you until your dying day. They'll come past your house 4 and 5 and 6 times a day. They'll keep on going up and down the street. Every time you look out the window, they'll be out there. I've had them do me like this. I know how it operates. And so they want you to be all overcome with fear. Okay? Because that's how they operate, like bullies. And this is what has happened to the family. Now, they done killed this woman's son. And all they're doing now is the family is calm. In fact, the family definitely open and discourage people from rioting and things like that. But the cops are surrounding their house. Every 10, 15, 20 minutes, the cops are running past their house. Maybe less than that, every 10 minutes. Going past their house, looking at them, looking up in their houses. What is that for? What is that intimidation? What is that? I want you guys to know that Seville Smith had a lawsuit in, and they were harassing him. And I want you to know that those false reports that you're getting from the news are just what they are, false reports. I want you to also know that Seville Smith, while he filed a harassment charge and filed the charges against the police department, they arrested him one time. They kept picking him. Every time they see him at the gas station, they call him by his first name. Anytime they see him, they will call him out. And they set him in jail for 10 months without a charge. I want y'all to be aware of that. I want you to also be aware that he was not in a stolen car. The police have his car. The police would not let the mother identify the body, which I think is really weird. What's going on with, I don't know if this has something to do with the Patriot Act. I don't know what, because it's going on all across the country. When my brother and sister were murdered, we had to personally identify the body. The police called us and took us down to the morgue. I had to see my brother laying up on his slab after being murdered by a police officer. Okay? So I'm going to tell you where I stand. Both sides. I know both sides all too well. I also know that my brother was doing illegal activity for the police. That never came out. Never came out in the trial at all. Okay, so the police got away with it. The judge was corrupt. He was a judge that had his first day back on the job, on the bench, after sexually harassing a woman and filling her up in the elevator. The first case back, he gets these cops that killed a tenant, and these cops get to go back in the chamber with the judge. We're all sitting there watching, totally conflict of interest, just madness taking place right before our very eyes. This is the city of Milwaukee. So all that Laverne and Shirley stuff y'all got in y'all mind, y'all need to get it out of the way. Milwaukee is a city in trouble. Milwaukee is a city on the cusp of explosion. You cannot jam-pack black people into 3 or 4 different zip codes. It's impossible. And you cannot continue to paint a narrative about people that is so disingenuous and totally, I guess, deflect on the fact that there needs to be dialogue, open dialogue between everybody. Otherwise, the police department and the sheriff's department need to be dismantled, and we need to come up with some new form of policing, because the old way is not working. Things change, things evolve, and if you still don't want to represent the slave catchers and the night patrollers that this country and the police departments have represented very well, then we got to make some changes. And I'm a National Card member, carrying NRA member, and I've begged to hear the NRA come out and say anything regarding this matter, regarding all the gun shooting, regarding all the people being shot, regarding people's lives being violated, and their right to even bear firearms being excluded from them. I want you to see that, because I want you to know it. I am a card member carrying NRA, because I do believe in my right to protect myself and anything and everything, and my babies and my family and everything that's around me. Okay? And I put this and I preach this because this is the way they see it. But I have yet to see anybody from this organization saying anything about what is going on with the people of color. That's a problem, you guys. We cannot continue to have this narcissism run rampant in America. The same type of narcissism that would allow a person to run as a Democrat and flip-flop and become a Republican in the middle of and act as if nothing has happened. No accountability. All the people that voted for him are just feeling like, what the hell have we done? What is going on? Sheriff Clark, in case you didn't know, he grew up in a project. He grew up in Berryland. This Berryland project. Him and his couple of sisters. He's the only boy in his family. I have a long history, and because my history in Milwaukee is so long, I know a lot of players in this city. Went to school with a lot of them. My brothers went to school with a lot of them. Hell, my brother played basketball with Tom Barrett. Okay? And I think Barrett went to Marquette High School. I'm not particularly sure, but my point is, I've been in this city long enough that some of these relationships that I have with these people, I've had them since childhood. Or I've known them since childhood, and I've watched them evolve to the people that they are. And I'm seeing the mantras now that they want to carry for themselves. Some of it is embarrassing and humiliating, disgusting. And I try to take the meat and throw away the bone. There are a lot of things that Sheriff Clark says that not many, but there are a few things that he says that I agree with. There is a breakdown in the family. There is a breakdown of respect and responsibility. And that has to be addressed. We have to address the issues that we have as black people, and we cannot get around that. We have to address them. We cannot make it seem like we don't have any, because we're sick. We're suffering from post-traumatic stress slavery syndrome. We're suffering from abuse on a major scale. Nobody wants to deal with our mental health. Neither do they want to deal with the narcissistic mental health that have put us in this condition. Okay? Because it's all mental illness. It's a pathology that is total psychopath and sociopathic. This whole country is narcissistic. And it was taken out of the DSM. I keep saying that because the traits are too inwoven in the fabric of the environment. Milwaukee is one of the most beautiful cities in the United States. It's a beautiful city. And it has the makings of being so much more. But I'm going to tell you something. No city can thrive and survive with the segregation that is going on here. There's a book that I also keep promoting, and I tell you guys you'll read a lot about my father in this book. It's called Selma of the North. Selma. And you know, guys know what Selma is? Selma was Selma, Alabama. The book is written by Patrick Jones. Okay? And this book is going to tell you all about the community and the tensions and the riots and stuff, and the way the police have operated in this city so much that it had the title of Selma of the North. So if y'all think that Milwaukee is just some little nice little Laverne and Shirley beer and bratwurst town, this is the most corrupt little... It's a corrupt place. Policing has got to be overhauled. If we are going to survive the 21st century, we cannot continue with these mandates. We cannot continue with this old way of doing things. And capitalism, unbridled, is got to be addressed. We can't have 1% having everything, turning the other groups against each other while they sit back and just play chess with our lives. Poor people have to realize that they got more in common with me than they have. Poor white people have to realize they got more in common with me and that black man that they despise than they do with that 1%. And until they can do that, it's never going to change. And when you see me, and if all you see is color, it's hard to get past that narrative. Because to get past that narrative is for you to reach down so deep inside yourself. And it's almost like getting a person to admit that they're abused or an abuser. It is one of the most impossible things to do. Alright. I'm going to go now. I thank you for listening. I had to get this commentary out because I've been talking to stuff is happening all around me, and I can't stay silent about it. And I wish everybody peace.